Hello, my beautiful, powerful, everyday women of the world. Welcome to the Startup Stories podcast, where the ambitious everyday woman is heard, held, and served in life and business. I'm your host, Mia Frankel of Powerful Inc., the everyday woman's coach for living a peaceful and productive life. In this podcast, you'll hear relatable stories to keep you sane, grounded, and growing as you expand yourself and deliver your purpose to the world. Sound good? Yeah. And in this episode, we have something super fun that's never been done on the podcast before. Ooh, sensationalism. I have two guests. And you know what's funny, Shana and Vanessa? After you guys booked as double guests, another collaborative business booked as double guests. So it speaks so deep to my heart about the power of women working together and sharing the message and helping each other. And what's really fun about today's guests, my dear listeners, is that they're best friends in life, and now they're best friends in business, and now they're badass business partners, bringing budgets to bougie women. What other B words can we roll?
What other B words can we get in there?
Good B words. So these two we're going to go through your origin story and who you are outside of the business and inside of the business, but they offer an on-demand masterclass, and I love that wording versus evergreen on-demand, which I watched. And their dynamic is really great, and their information is very clear. And so what they do is help automate your budget. That, oh my gosh, as I was listening to the masterclass, I was like, picturing it up and running and working for me, right? And removing all of that. And of course, part of my brain's like, but you're kind of one less thing to do on the already very full plate of everything, right? One less thing to do. And managing your money as a business owner, as a home manager, as a general person in life overall, super important. Make money your friend. And these two have been trained by David Ramsey and are certified financial coaches through his program and are just super fun and entertaining and proficient in relating to you as an everyday woman. They've also been featured in a bunch of fun and fancy different places, which is awesome. So they're kicking butt. They're organizing budgets, which is as bad. It's as much of a like scrunchy face as when you say organize your business or put in strategy. People are like, meh, right? But no, when you do that, tell us what it does for you. Tell us any edits or additions to your bios and just come on in and let's get chatting.
It's funny. I was listening to one of your podcasts this morning and you said, I used to fold socks in a drawer and now I just shove them in a drawer.
Oh,
and I was because you said, you have to find those systems and processes to just be fine not doing it all the way through, but just getting something done and getting back more of your time. And I was thinking about our system and it's setting up these systems so that way you don't have to worry about it. Like you said, it's one less thing on your plate.
Yeah.
And you're so busy, you're so awesome doing everything else in your life. Why does finances have to be a burden for you? Right? That's the one area that it's a big area and we don't want it to be. We don't want it to be this taboo the budget be the taboo word and finances be this taboo conversation that is so heavy and weighted for you.
Yeah. Money affects our emotional well-being, our spiritual well-being, our sense of safety, right? And I'm 43. Previous generations to me, we didn't talk about it. It wasn't discussed in the home, and or there was a single income, in a well-off stereotypical North American family. So when I launched into adulthood, I had to figure it all out, and I've made a few messes, and I've had to clean them up, right? And I want to make my money work for me. So why don't you tell us who you were before Budget Besties and how you were friends and what that friendship has been and where the business idea was planted?
Yeah, so I'm Shana and she's Vanessa, and we're very thankful to be on the show. We're going to hopefully live up to your intro. Really appreciate all of that. And we're so blessed that you watched that class and you liked it because, sometimes you're like, what was that like? So appreciate that. And we've been best friends since our boys were 4.
Okay.
And, Mia, you were so kind to accommodate. We just got back from college meeting with our boys that are now 17.
Wow.
So that's where we're at. Okay.
Which we were told about last night.
Yes.
So
It's very great. We love to be able, and we can talk about that later, but about how we've designed our business to, for the most part, be able to work around all of these different parts of our lives so that we can do it all But yeah, we met at the YMCA working out mamas. Our kids were in class together and we took it from there.
Yeah, and it was just one
Awesome.
of those. She was new in town. I needed a church. She needed a church. We instant became friends and started a life group together. It's fine, right?
Uh-huh.
Immediately, and then our kids just basically grew up together, going to the beach, hanging out at each other's
Yeah.
houses, and it just really became a wonderful friendship. They were close in age, which obviously helped.
Mhm.
Um, it formed a wonderful friendship as I was going through my journey with my different careers, and she was doing the same thing, and they were moving with military life.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we're both nerds. Well, so it's really funny because in my family, my husband and I are both budget nerds. Like we were gonna fight over who gets to the spreadsheet, right? So, we have a lot in common. Like
Yeah.
literally that whole she could finish my sentence thing. And then we have a lot, that keeps us fun, as friends.
Right.
But we both are super into it. So we found ourselves actually teaching. Dave Ramsey has a class called Financial Peace
Mhm.
University. And we found ourselves teaching it because we just loved it. It helped both of us get, as you said, lose all the money baggage and actually learn what to do and make some smart moves, some grown-up moves, and get ahead. And what we noticed was budgeting was something that was missing from every sort of financial literacy
Mhm.
conversation. No one teaches you actually how to budget. They kind of expect that you already know, or
Yeah.
they just start talking about investments or something like that. And it's like, and so that's
Yeah.
what we found. That's what we need to do.
It's like they were missing a step,
Yeah.
right? And so that then Financial Peace University is a certain amount of weeks. There is, they tell you the exact content that you teach each week. And when we came in, the second week, people were like, "Can you look at my budget?" And we thought,
Mm.
"Oh, you don't know how to do this." And so
Mhm.
that's where we really decided to spend an entire class period. We extended ours by an entire week and spent the entire class period talking and going table by table about their budgets and explaining how this works and what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to funnel and
Mhm.
and they just had no idea. And like Shana said, the expectation was that they already knew. But
Right.
like you said, there wasn't really talked about in our household a lot. The parents kind of dealt with that. It was probably behind closed doors.
Mhm.
We didn't really know about it. And then it was, you got your first job, you're in college. Oh, by the way, now you're married. Now you have to handle two people's
Yeah.
income, and then you have
Yeah.
kids. And so it just kind of compounds into this area that you never had like financial literacy. You never educated in this,
Mhm.
but they said, good luck.
Yeah.
You're going to make it. It's gonna be fine. And so we really just wanted to come in and find a way to help people build their budgets where it wasn't scary. It wasn't restrictive because one of the things that we did here was you cannot pay off your debt and also go out to eat. You cannot you have to live on beans and rice to be
Right.
able to do X, Y, and Z. And
Right.
when we started our program with our clients, we realized that is not what they want. They really want a lifestyle to where they can live their life, they can enjoy and be present in the moment, and also take care of these big, scary
Mhm.
things that are kind of haunting them.
So a budget for real women, real families in their everyday life that is adulting over their money, but
Mhm.
not in a sacrificial way.
Right.
And
Mhm.
that is freedom. And that is like an empowered way then to manage your money very proactively, right? Then you're not a slave to it. You're not a slave to the debt, etc. And living in depravity,
Mhm.
you're very accountable. And this is funny. Our neighbor gave us a bunch of dried beans for cooking, but they're hard and they're beautiful and they're really satisfying to play with. So my daughter wants them in a bowl in her room, of course.
Mhm.
And the first day with them, she's there counting her beans. I was dying.
That is
But
hilarious.
like, already developing a sense of management over volume
Mhm.
and allocating it. So you guys, in their on-demand class, they walk you through this very beautiful, which makes it more appealing. It's made in Canva by the looks of it, right? A very beautiful automated budget that tracks your money. And what I love is the ability to customize because if you start Googling budget templates, you'll be looking until the end of times. And there's so many and Excel sheets and all, and it just gets what I've always resisted is the level of detail. And you
Mhm.
guys keep it a little bit higher up and you set up these automations so that the money is automatically going to different places based on dates and things. And that was very liberating to listen to and then to start considering how do we implement this because when I sit down to do my budget, I have the pile of receipts, I'm entering it, I'm managing husband's and mine, and trying to figure out the half and half and all of this. Our
Mhm.
money doesn't go into the same account yet, maybe ever. Um, well, right? But a lot of moving pieces. And so it is time consuming, something I do 3 times a month versus having it run in the background for me. And um, you guys feel like the bridge to close that gap between, the heavy, daunting spreadsheets of the internet's offers to creating something specific to your household, to your incomes, and to your lifestyle to deal with the situation at hand. So, a big plug to check these guys out with that on-demand class that does not need to be re-recorded.
Aw.
Right? I don't think so. Like, I mean, it's all there, right?
We didn't know that we were showing up for like affirmation today. And okay, I'm accepting all of it.
I know. Well, this is honestly, I will say the first time that a guest or a host has done this, has gone through our class and talked about it on the podcast. And it's, yes, so all the affirmations. Thank you so much, because it is really kind when you don't know and you want to make
Yeah.
sure it is serving your audience,
Yeah.
and to know that it is. And
Yeah.
we did explain it the way that we wanted to.
Yeah.
So thank you for taking the time to do that.
Yeah.
And so what you said, I think everybody, we felt the same way. So actually, Mia, what we did when we decided that this was the direction our business was going to completely hone in and focus on, we tried to go all the same Google searches,
Mhm.
Etsy searches, and say, oh, which budget can we use for our
Yeah.
clients? And we're like, oh, these are all terrible. They're
Yeah.
ugly. There's
Yeah.
so many, like you said, the level of detail, gross. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. There's like words like fixed and variable, and
Yeah.
just what does this even mean? So we definitely set out to make it as simple as possible and to make it look like something I want to do. And also the budget should mirror what you actually do with your hands. I
Mhm.
think that's where people get confused. And it's because they don't, their budget is like just numbers on paper. And
Yeah.
then what do I do? And so you don't need just another budget, you need a budget system. So we've given you a system, as you said, once you put all of that on paper, then we can have it all run automatically. And then you don't have to have a stack of receipts. Like no more. When you say close the era, you're no longer in your receipts era.
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
not do that anymore.
Well,
No.
and when you were saying that, I was thinking, I think this is where people get stuck,
Yeah.
because they think in order to budget properly or be successful, they have to track all of these expenses. But
Mhm.
the reality is that's bookkeeping. You've now graduated to an accountant. Congratulations, right? And
Yeah.
nobody wants an extra title. We have enough. Thank you very
Nobody
much.
wants to be an accountant except for the really cool people that are good at math.
I mean, that's probably my secret love language. It's fine. But for other, like, no, but even for me who loves it, for my everyday life, that is
Yeah.
not something that I have time to take
Mm-mm.
care of or do, nor that I want to. And it was funny because I have a brand new client and she sent me her exact, like all of her transactions. And I said,
I don't want to
I said, that's great. And
return to sender.
I love how you're trying to track. I said, but remember that the freedom of all this is that you don't have to do that. But for so long, that's all she knew.
Mhm.
That's all she
That's
knew how to
right.
budget, was to have to track every down to the penny
Mhm.
what they spent on groceries and gas and going out to eat. And so we're just trying to reframe what budgeting is.
Mhm.
And when you were talking about the level of detail on some of these budgets, I would actually say it's the level of complexity, because they put
Mhm.
all of these fun charts and different things to make you think that it's doing a lot. And it's really just busy work. It's really things to they put up there to like confuse you, for you to think that you're doing a good job,
Mhm.
and you are budgeting the right way. But the way that we have set out our 5-column simple budget, like Shana said, it's beautiful. The husbands love it. They say
Right.
it's beautiful.
Right.
It's just something that is so easy that everybody wants to be able to do, and they want to look at it.
Well, and it teaches you how to budget. Like we said, we say it's income minus debt minus bills minus what you spend,
Mhm.
and then whatever's left over we can hopefully put to savings for a purpose. And instead of needs, wants, some things are bills, but groceries, I need that. Is that a bill? Like everybody's super like confused because again, nobody ever taught you. We want it to be very simple. That's what our budget does. Very simple to understand, to see all of your money in one fell swoop, like everything that's going on with your money at a bird's eye view.
Mhm.
And then once we get that set up, the magic is you don't ever have to fold the socks again. Like you just
Yeah.
do the one time and
Yeah.
it's already folded. They're all folded every
Yeah.
time. So your bank can do your budgeting for you,
Yeah.
and it can do automatically, and you just have to set it up one time. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, and imagine, listeners, the spaciousness and safety that you feel from not worrying about, is your debit card going to go through? Do you have money for that? Did you pay that bill on time? Did your debt payment happen? You know, do you have to move money around in accounts? All of that extra noise and busyness running in the background as we're driving kids around, washing dishes, whatever's happening, running a business. And then apply that to the greater scale of running a business and automating that part of it so that you're in control and not signed up for 15 subscriptions that you're not using, that you know exactly what you're paying for and where your money's going. So the passion is very palatable with the two of you. And let's go back a little bit to when you signed up for the David Ramsey program and so you guys were in it together and then the conversation started around running this business. How did evolving your friendship into business partners go?
Okay, do you have anything? Because I have a million things.
No, I have a lot, but
okay, but she has a memory. I don't have a memory, so it really works out. Praise God for that. We love this question because everybody says don't go into business with anybody
that you know.
And certainly don't go into business with someone that you know,
family or friends.
But what was wonderful is we truly believe we were brought together to do this together.
Yeah.
And one of the first telltale signs is we were doing it together, but we were doing it together apart, right?
Okay.
So we get the same referrals from Dave Ramsey for clients. And we were like, well, that's gross. Now we're like both calling the same person, competing. Yeah. Oh no.
So then we went to like, well, we'll go every other one, right? Like you get this one, I get that. Yeah, no, it's still weird.
Well, no, but we made a spreadsheet so we could share because we didn't like, and so we didn't want to be any of that messiness. And so that sort of was like sort of the foundation for it. It was always going to be that way. We want to work together, and it is a blessing because as business can be very lonely. Entrepreneurship can be very lonely. We don't have that problem.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate that way. But yeah, I think for us, just being able to work together, we were both running at the same pace. We're both a little crazy like that. We're both very hard workers, and we have big dreams and big visions. So I think that had to match as well as, it being God that brought us together. It wasn't our idea or, so that there was no resisting it too.
Well, and I don't have a sister. I just have one older brother and she's an only child. And so we never had like this sister bond ever. Yeah. And so I think that's what we formed along the way is a way to learn how to be friends, be business partners, work through difficulties, work through differences together. And it's only made us stronger in the end. And I can't think of another person literally in my circle, in my bubble that I would want to do this business with because I know like her heart. I know how hard of a worker she is. And it's been wonderful. This whole journey that we're going on 6 years now of us, we started in 2019 of coming together and starting this journey in 2020, right? Smack dab in the middle of COVID is when we decided to officially, make it a LLC, but we've been doing this together for 6 years now. And it's so fun. Yeah.
And is it your full-time gig now?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny that you say that. So full-time and we're speaking,
what does that mean?
Yeah, we're speaking and we made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. And so what's funny is anytime that we were going the wrong direction, we were very, very abruptly pointed right back to where we were supposed to go. Okay. Doors in our face, just so many things, which we're grateful for because it's where we're at. It's brought us to where we're at now, which is when you say full time, we have 5 kids between the two of us. We work while they're at school, and we try to get as much as we can. We have tried to simplify our business to where we can actually get everything done while that's happening because Mia, there's no spare time. There used to be spare time when they were little. Is that a word? More, they were small. They were,
I like that. Yeah.
They were little bitties. Now they're not. We will hang up this call and we will both sprint to volleyball or basketball or whatever thing that they have going on. And as you know, right before we got on, we were at a college meeting. Like we have to have a very tight run business in order to live our lives. And that is funny. So we truly are best friends. We play beach volleyball together on Wednesdays nights, and then Thursday is our day off. And then we do all the things that you have to be able to do to run your life. And then we work, like I said, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday whilst the kids are in school and try to get as much of it done during those hours as we can. So
it just allows us to be present. Like she said, I think we did a lot of things wrong at the beginning, which I think every business owner does. And that's what I think you're supposed to do that to be able to get to where you are and to be able to appreciate this time now. But we have she has 2 years left, well, a year and a half now, I guess, before her oldest
What?
is in college. I know, mine too.
Why are
It's
you
fine.
saying
It's
that?
so rude. But then my daughter, my youngest, in 3 years, she's gone and she had a little bit more time in between hers. But like we need to be, this is it for them. They get one
Yeah.
shot at being a kid and us being present and being there. And we don't want to miss that. And at the same time, we also know that we can build an amazing, awesome business while they are at school.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what has been more of the benefit, or let's actually use a bit of time to talk about some of the mistakes, right? And because they're opportunities and growth lessons and yada yada. But let's normalize it because I don't want people to think they have to be perfect. Obviously, we have to just figure things out as we go, and that means embracing some messiness and leaning into it and through it anyway.
Well, Mia, I'll tell you, all you have to do is go back. We have a podcast. If you go back and listen to our first episode, you won't recognize what's happening because we didn't know what we were doing. So we had like 5 businesses in one. Okay. Nobody needs to do this. Don't ever do this to yourself. I think we were doing like in-person personal training classes. We were doing life coaching. We were doing health coaching. We were doing home organization because that makes sense. And also financial coaching.
This is 5.
And then we had events. So we were crazy. And luckily enough, our kids were younger. They weren't quite as busy as they are now, because that would never have. But like Vanessa said, you learn these things for a reason. So then I say the number one mistake we did is we tried to do too much. And literally the month that we decided to let it all go except for financial coaching, which is all we do now, our business has exploded ever since. And like Vanessa said, there's no need to go back and be hard on yourself, because you have to learn those lessons sometimes the hard way. But we're grateful for that now. And now we realize we're working less. We're super dialed in, and we're seeing way more fruit in our business than we ever have before.
Well, and financial coaching had always been the catalyst of our business. It was always the thing that was holding it afloat, basically. And looking back, we would always look at our monthly finances and go, wow, financial coaching continues to be the number one, income producing thing for our business. And then we just kept doing everything else, right? And then I think when we finally came to that realization of doing the one thing, and it wasn't actually us, it's every single podcast, business coach, anywhere you hear people say, do one thing.
Oh,
do one thing.
You mean us?
Yeah. Everybody else, but not me.
But
for them.
Yeah, but we said, but there's 2 of us.
It's very hard work.
So you obviously don't know that we can handle it. So it was very eye-opening when we finally released the control and said, okay, we're going to commit to do the one thing. And like she said, in that month, our business exploded and it catapulted. And ever since then, it's been great. So yeah, and it's so much less weight on our shoulders. And you think you're marketing one business if you have like departments or divisions or whatever. We said no, we have one business. We have a life coaching business, and then underneath we just have the different departments. We didn't have anyone to manage or help those departments. And when you're marketing, you have to market each one of those very specifically and very differently. And we didn't understand that. We thought it was all kind of the same thing until we started looking at it. We're like, oh, people don't know what we do because we're all over the place. And so, being a specialized business in one thing gave us, I guess, more of that platform. It gives you authority in the one thing. And so when we honed in on that, it's when it really changed.
And I would say one of the other mistakes that we made is, and I don't know if it's a mistake, but I do want to speak to maybe help your audience, is we really took a minute to listen to our audience and really find out who they were and what they wanted, because a lot of us go out and get life coach trainings or whatever, and then we think we have to do it the way our mentors taught us.
Yes.
And then it took us a minute to learn, no, we are not teaching people they have to live on beans and rice in order to pay off debt. We are not teaching people that they can't ever go into a restaurant or go on vacation because their budget is too tight. That is not what they want. We are talking to people who make good money but have nothing to show for it, but they want to be bougie on a budget. And we're going to show them how to be bougie on a budget. And it took us a while to get that differentiation clear, because we learned from our mentor and we thought that's what we're trying to teach. But so really finding, what you are, and I know this is something else everybody always says, but it just took us a minute, finding what you're uniquely teaching and giving,
What you offer.
and offering.
Mhm.
And your people will find you. We
Yeah.
have those words, make good money but have nothing to show for it.
Mhm.
Every person that works with us was like, that was me. How did you know?
Well, and so, we hired a coach and we did market research. And when we would have these calls with people, that was the one line that they would say over and over. And I make good money, but have nothing to show for it. We thought, oh, maybe this is a thing. So
Mhm.
that's what we use as kind of our grab. And like Shana said, we were listening to our audience. And it formed the who we are and
Yeah.
who we serve and why we serve them. But being bougie on a budget, it was so fun how that came to us. But it was, we want people to live and enjoy the life that they have. And being bougie means different for everyone. So some people, it may mean go buy Gucci purses because that's your thing. For us, it's travel, sports, and high quality food
Apparently.
and different things like that. That the season that we're in right now, for us, some other people, it may be all vacations because they're retired and that's what bougie means to them. So it's just we love it because we don't do cookie cutter anything.
Yeah.
We have all of our clients, she has her clients, I have my clients. Every single one of them's budgets is different on purpose, as it should be, because it's specific to their life, their goals, and what they have going on.
Yeah.
That is, to me, such a critical part of coaching, right? So here you guys have created an ecosystem, a financial ecosystem specifically, but one that allows your natural gifts and talents to shine, and where the coaching is about their outcome and not you pushing your agenda. With Shana, you mentioned, cookie cutter, copy paste coaching. That's not the actual reality or intention of the coaching industry, no matter the subject. It's to really empower the client to receive independence with your help, right? And when you can do market research and create this exchange, you get to fulfill your purpose more and more. And that client gets the clarity that they need on the specific problem that they want to solve. And especially then can fledge the nest and go on to carry forth and, probably influence other people, make referrals, whatever. But taking the ego out of the service, right? And as daughters of the Lord, especially, like just serving in good faith for that person to receive what they're going to need and be accountable to themselves. They're not dependent on you. Like that is lasting transformation, sustainable transformation that creates such beautiful change.
And I think with most coaching, and this is what we do, we start with, where do you want to be? What are your
Mhm.
goals?
Mhm.
We don't like to start with, we're not interested in why do you think you're bad at money? We don't even want to hear, we don't want to hear any of that. We love you. We're going to love you through it. But we want, and this is whether we're coaching you or you just get our system and you do it on your own because you're super smart like that, which is great. We want to start with what are your goals? We want you to dream again because, in the hustle and bustle of life, and as you said, receipts, like we lose the idea that money is going to fuel all of our dreams and desires and goals. And so we love to start there because who wants to budget if there's not a fun reason to do it? And so we want to flip the script. We're not budgeting so we can restrict you. We're giving you permission to spend, truly. But we like to start the conversation with, what do you want to dream about? Remember when you were, for example, when you first got married, you had dreams, you had this life vision that you had. We want to nail that down with you before you start budgeting so that gives you the why to actually start doing all the things that we're gonna talk through and work through together. And that is where what you're saying, that's self-accountability then. Because now I can see my goals. This is what is coming from my heart, and that's what's going to make me want to do the things that we're going to suggest.
And we had a client one time when I sat down and asked them that question, she started crying on the call. She said, nobody's ever asked me that before. And they're there. We know that they're there, whether you've spoken them out loud or you've just kept them hidden inside. We all have desires, dreams, goals, vision for our life. What we want to do is make them alive. We want to put them and give them purpose, and you want to use your money as a tool to be able to get there. Because whether we want to or not, money makes the world go around. You need money to do everything in this world. Even if it's just to give your time, you have to be able to have the money to support you to give your time to be able to do the thing that you want to do. And we just want it to be a wonderful resource for you. So that way you're happy and you're like excited, because if you and your spouse got married and then you had kids, you started your careers, sometimes those dreams, those goals, they just get lost and they get like pushed down because we forgot. But we want to bring them to life again, because if you don't have a vision, doing the budget, why is it exciting? It's not going to be exciting if you don't have a why. You're going to be so much more motivated to save the money or spend the way you want to spend, knowing that you're still accomplishing your goals.
Yeah. And that kind of opens the door to, the overall life vision. So using money as that leverage and as that symbol to paint the picture of what do you want to do with your life. It's people seeking purpose, spending time to paint that allows them to, as I said, like launch on their own, but also reflect rather than just living reactive status quo day to day. You're lifting them up out of something and making it so much bigger than money itself, and then activating that as a tool, which is really, really powerful. And again, like a very healthy and holistic way to use coaching with people and them finding their purpose through whatever channel, if it's life coaching or financial coaching or, health, it's important. And I just want to pull that out because I talk to a lot of life coaches generally, or maybe business coaches. And so it's fun to bring in another subject and go deeper into the benefits of the coaching industry and like the differentiation between good coaching and bad coaching a little bit, right? And because the intention of the people behind it are going to drive the results and bring forth either transformation that, as you said, the person has to be accountable to themselves and take time to think about, to cast that.
I think one of the things too, when we tell people like our coaching program is 6 months, we've had the very first client, I had them for 4 years. Love her so much, but I finally said, girl, you got to go. You got to be able to do this on your own. And she was dependent for so long on me doing it because she knew that if I didn't do it, she wasn't going to do it. And I was forcing her to get to the point where she had to do it. And now, we don't want them on forever. That's not fair. It's not a good, it's not a good sense of your resources, right? We want you to use and steward your money well. And we know that if you can just make this short investment, like whether it's just buying our template and doing it DIY, because we know that there's people that can just take something and go and they'll be successful. But there are other people, like you said, that need that accountability, and that's okay. And that's what coaches are for. I was new to the coaching industry when we first started, like, what is a financial coach and what do they do? Oh, it's what I love to do. Now it has a title, right? But getting them in and out, having that investment in themselves, having somebody hold them accountable. And then what we like to say is, we want to give you your wings. We want you to be able to do it on your own. We want to watch you be successful. So getting them in that time frame, it's so fun to watch, like the beginning and in the end.
Well, and that brings up an example that I love to tell, if you'll give me a minute to tell you, because the transformation, that's what coaching is about. You're trying to go from here maybe to here, your purpose, your ideal self, whatever. This client I had, Mia, she came into her first coaching session with a bottle of wine. A whole bottle of wine. She wasn't coming to share it, by the way, guys. Okay.
Right.
It was
Clink.
and I think a lot of your listeners can relate. She was so anxious to finally rip the Band-Aid off, to look at all these numbers, to see what's going on. She doesn't, she had that typical, I'm bad at math or whatever. I'm not good at math is what people say. And she was so anxious. Okay. And so like Vanessa said, we work together. It is a process, and you're going to borrow some of our belief in you for a little while. You're going to hear encouragement every time we meet. You're going to watch the math, even though you don't necessarily trust if it's going to really math. Right. And so that takes a minute, right? That takes a minute. And it's one of the best investments you're going to make in yourself and for your finances. Fast forward, this client, later, after coaching, her husband was unfortunately diagnosed with cancer, and she told me, she didn't have to do anything with her money. She didn't have to do anything with her budget. We didn't really go into deeply what we do, but her bills were paid automatically because she set them up in a separate account.
Mhm.
Her money, she has automatic transfers that went to her groceries and her gas account, her personal
Mhm.
spending, her homeschool account because she
Mhm.
homeschools, and then money was going to savings. That any goals, any buckets that she had set up automatically. So she didn't have to do anything with her budget while she was walking through this with her
Mhm.
husband for the whole summer and getting him treatment and all of that. And so I just want to paint that picture. She went from bringing a bottle of wine to her
Yeah.
first session to not even having to lift a finger
Mhm.
and being able to be present in those moments. And that's the thing that really, pulls on our heartstrings. So many times a terrible situation is made worse because of finances,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right? It's
Yeah.
an emergency. I have to get home on a funeral. How am I going to pay for the ticket? And so what we want to do is we don't ever want finances to be something that's adding stress. Like your budget can work for you. It can work on its own. It can be reaching all your goals without you
Mhm.
having to do anything. And that's the goal that we want for you so that there's enough stress and drama in
Yeah.
life
Mhm.
naturally. Your money
Mhm.
doesn't need to be one of them.
Think
Mhm.
about the last time your listeners, the last time you guys had a situation that was really stressful and then finances like triple that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? And imagine how much more present or at peace you could have been in that situation if finances were not an issue.
That's
And
right.
that's our goal because we don't just look at your monthly budget. We look at everything. You are budgeting in everything. And people could say, "Oh, well, some people have a hard time with that." I say, "Well, that's unrealistic. You can't do that." Yeah, you can. And we've done it with our clients. And we don't just look at what you cost in a month. We look at what
Mhm.
you cost in a year. And that is how we budget. And it really is changing lives when they are prepared for situations, not just the bad, not just the hard, but the good too, like
That's right.
Christmas and birthdays and
Yeah.
anniversaries and Easter and
All
Halloween.
the
Like,
surprise expenses
yeah,
that
these
come up.
Yeah.
unexpected expenses that
Yeah.
people say catch me off guard. But can
Yeah.
you imagine if you are at that point in your life where you can just automatically be saving for
Mhm.
everything and automatically have the money available for when you want to buy a Christmas present in
Mhm.
March for
Mhm.
somebody?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really great.
Yeah. That was in the training that you set up your year and you plug in your events, birthdays, holidays, that sort of stuff, and start dripping into those buckets so that you're building it all the time. And if we think about our money annually, it's far more powerful than by paycheck or by
Mhm.
monthly, right? And so you're just redistributing what you have and using it more intentionally, more carefully, and then freely, which is awesome. So I love the subject. I agree it's not talked about enough and not made accessible
Mhm.
necessarily either. And then the support to integrate, teaching how to get up and running and really become self sufficient in managing it and trusting oneself to keep managing it once they have to sadly say goodbye to one or both of you. And as we kind of start to wrap ourselves up in the conversation, unfortunately, I want to know a bit more about the women behind the business. So, the two of you and how you've changed, how your friendship has evolved. Like, what have you learned about yourself in becoming entrepreneurs? And was that ever, an aspiration 6, 7, 8 years ago?
Yes. So, well, I won't speak for her, but I will say what she's about to say. She comes from a line of entrepreneurs, and
Uh-huh.
I'll let her give her speech or her part with that. But yes, I always knew I wanted to have my own business. We are both unemployable. Let's just be really honest about that, for better or worse, right? And so this, I was actually just talking to my husband yesterday. We were on a date because Thursday is our day off,
Nice.
and he was, talking about our future, and I said, well. I don't know what else I could want. And I'm not trying to sound
Mhm.
ridiculous, but I work with my best friend. We have a very successful business. Believe us, it took a minute to get there.
Mhm.
We're able to be present with our kids. We live in Florida. It's sunny right now. There's a
Yeah.
beach. Like what am I what else am I supposed to want?
Yeah.
So I think we've grown, like Vanessa said, as sisters. We've
Mhm.
had a few spats. We've had just a very few, like not really, probably as many as people would think, but every once in a while, like, but actually, I would say we haven't had any in a while. And you know what? It's we've been able to grow up, and our
Yeah.
business has also been able to grow up, and
Mhm.
I just think it's been a privilege, and I feel very blessed, and I can't find the downside, not
Yeah.
yet, or hopefully never, but.
Yeah, I think being an entrepreneur has always been in my blood. And I was actually at the dinner table last night talking to my kids about um, myself, about how your mom found out at a really young age that I was unemployable. And what does that mean? That means I had to take matters into my own hands and figure out how I'm gonna make money on my own, and what that looked like. And God never revealed to me what the business was until a very specific date. When he told me to pay off my mortgage, and then I was going to start my business. And I thought, well, that's cute. I don't really know how to do that. And then I did the thing, and I remember I was walking around my house with my palms up, going, okay, I did the thing. What is that? What do I do? And he said, well, you're going to show other people how to do this. And then literally that same week she called me. The whole thing was a God story from day one. And we are exactly where we're supposed to be, serving our audience. And we love to serve. We have so many free resources, our podcast, on our website. We have a Facebook group. We have office hours. The class. We have so many things because we know that not everybody can pay for coaching.
Yeah.
So we have our DIY system that is, a fraction of the cost. It's less than a trip to Target for that. But because this is what we want financial freedom for everybody. And we are excited to be able to provide a platform to be able to help everyone get there.
Yeah, beautiful. And so now you're kind of in the groove, 6 years in with the coaching, 3 core offers by the looks of the website, and then speaking engagements and things. So what else are you going to mix in, do you think?
Nothing.
Oh, no.
So we said, and this is growth. Yeah, this is growth because as we told you, we had 18,000 businesses or whatever, and it's always like, what's next? What's next? What's new? What's new? And this year, last year was our first season, both of us having travel volleyball and with our daughters. And we thought, oh, well, we don't have time to do anything. Like, we have to pause and just sit in this wonderful business that we have, do it this way and let it just grow naturally, which it always has grown. All of our numbers grow every month. We look at the metrics and we're like, what are we supposed to see other than it's all growing? Like, okay, great. Yeah.
But I think as entrepreneurs, and maybe it's our personality, it's never good enough. Right. It's always like, well, it could be, but I think it's growing exactly at the pace that it's supposed to be. Right. And I think we are being humble. We are being humbled by making sure that we are doing the one thing and allowing it to grow the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah. And so just to reiterate, we offer our budget system. It's kind of like a budget and a walk through course with it, right? So that's our offer for most people. And then we do have coaching spots that we do for 6 months at a time, where we work one-on-one with either you or you and your spouse, and that's it. There's nothing else coming. Look, how about that? There's nothing else coming, Mia. Are you proud of us?
It's refreshing because, and I'm really receiving that, going, it can be enough. What you have can be enough, right? Like if we're moms, we might decide 2 kids is enough, 3 kids is enough, and then we let them grow into what they're going to grow into. And that's really important, that we don't have to continuously chase or continuously expand. We can continue to prosper as we're planted with what we have. And it's meeting more the needs of your current life, and very clearly family is the number one priority after the Lord, and and that the business is suiting those needs, and that you're very content. And that's beautiful. It's peaceful because it allows you to just enjoy what is and be present in that moment, not closed to what else is coming. But again, I'm a bit tired with the coaching industry saying 30, 50, 100K months, Great. I don't want to ever cap anybody's dreams and visions for income, but I also don't want that to be the only dream that's offered.
Yeah. And to your point, I think, and Vanessa's point, God humbled us, and we are only capable of so much. And to your point, what I think is so interesting about what you just said is we are watching our children grow, and we're really in it. We are in their growth period. And so it's so interesting you say we only have so much room for growth. And we are like, our hearts are growing with them as they're all, learning and growing and getting older and getting ready to step out. Maybe that's part of why, we can only grow one thing at a time, and that's, as you said, that is the priority. And it's taking up a lot of our brain calories, taking up a lot of our stuff. And so it's wonderful that we have this business, and we always wanted to have this. This is what we love to do. But, so I just thought that was interesting about the growth is that, that's where the growth that's in our lives right now, that's where it's coming from.
This is the season that we're in. Yeah. But, I want to add on to that really quick, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Some people will say, oh, I'm so busy, I'm so tired, there's so much going on. And And it could be about their kids, it could be about their family. And I think it took us a minute to go, you know what? We're going to embrace this. We're going to be fully present. Yesterday, my day off, Mia, 90% of the things I had to do were for my kids. Okay, on my day off. And my husband said to me finally at like 9 o'clock at night, he said, babe, you haven't stopped moving all day. And I said, there's no time. I have had to do something for somebody all day long. And I don't regret it. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. It's just making sure that we have the time to do the things that we want to do, you know? And my other girlfriend went out, well, oh my goodness, went out to lunch the other day, and she said, I'm going to be a mess. My son graduates next year. She's like, but instead of showing him that, I'm going to be the most excited, the most happy, the most, go get a mom for him. And then behind closed doors, I can be a mess. But I want to be present. I want to be excited in this moment because it is something we're never going to get back. And I don't want it to feel like a burden for anyone. Right. And so I think for me, or maybe I'm speaking for both of us, but none of it is a burden for me. I love doing all the things. It's just we've designed our business to make sure we have the time to do them.
That's great. It's living in satiation. Am I pronouncing that right? Satiation. Like you're robust, you're satisfied, you're on purpose, and you're managing your capacity. And that is a very strong leadership skill because we will overexert ourselves, the entrepreneurial excitement, the adrenaline from it. But what is it all for, and all the other cliches? And the two of you paint just such a beautiful picture of having it all right here, right now, and it being enough. And not closed doors, as I said, but, just really being happy and responsible and aligned with your bigger life vision beyond just the business. And that's very beautiful. And I really appreciate that. It's often we're looking what's next, what's coming, and there'll always be tomorrow for the most part. Right. But let's live for today and let's make the most of it.
Well, let's be honest, Mia, that's all we have capacity for.
At best, at worst.
We're at that level right now. What's happening today? Let's be all in. I don't, there's so much going on tomorrow, but in our business, and we are also fortunate, the other thing I'll say is when we work, wherever we are, we're all the way there. And so whether it's with the kids or, beach volleyball, we want our double header. Okay. On Wednesday. But also, when with work, we don't stop when we're working. We go all in. And we are back to back all days with clients, and we pour into them. And so, I just don't want it to sound like we're just laissez-faire about it. We are very intentional and serious about our business because, at least a little bit, Mia, because our business has to fund our bougie life.
Yes.
And our okay, it's fine. We love them. And, they go to a wonderful school that we get to pay for. They play sports that we get to pay for. And, her daughter, or three of our kids, 3 out of the 5 are going to homecoming and all of this kind of stuff. So we, our business, like you said, it funds the life that we want to live. And that's really, what we also try to help our clients is have your money fund the life that you want to live and what you're, like we talked about before, what your vision and your goals are, so that you can be, like you said, satiated and not worrying about anything in the background. So
amazing. So we're going to come hang out with you. Facebook, LinkedIn, where are the good places? Where do you like to be?
Well, where you already are. I mean, come on over to Financial Coaching for Women and listen to our podcast on any of the platforms. We'd love to have you there. That's a lot. There's a lot of free resources, but yes, we also have a Facebook group, Financial Coaching for Women. That's same tagline
in Facebook. Yeah, because we're not very socially what is it? Social media.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
You might find us on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if our assistant put us on there.
We
might be there
on Instagram.
But to be honest, come on our podcast. We do we do love to see our people in our Facebook group. We do go there, but and that's kind of where we live. And again,
that's max capacity for us.
Part like what we were just saying. That's what we can handle. That's what works. And we're good with that. So please come find us.
Perfect. Great. And we'll share all that in the show notes, as the biz says. And, I think you've sold it. If we're going to build a real budget for a real woman, this is the place to do it with the Budget Besties. I just love it. You guys are beautiful humans. Thank you for doing the work that you do. And thanks for spending time with me today.
Well, thank you for allowing us to share the work that we do with your audience.
Yes, thank you so much. Wonderful host, wonderful. We had a great time. We feel very safe, like you said,
Yeah.
very nurtured, very loved. So that was wonderful, and thank you so much.
You're welcome.